Welcome to Wova. In this video, we will install a double sliding door using our sliding door system. At Wova, we have sliding door systems in all different types and sizes. Visit wova.com/sliding door rails for the complete range. Before we start installing the sliding door system, you first need to make doors yourself. Depending on your door frame, the height and the width, you can assemble a door yourself. Here we provided very useful tips in a blog that you can see in the link now appearing on your screen. Our standard sliding door systems consist of two parts of 1 meter each. These are the two. You see that the standard sliding door system is flattened at both ends with a flat back. Because we are going to install a double door, we need to use a so-called extension system. An extension system is 90 centimeters long and has a female end on one side and a so-called male end on the other. Now I will explain to you exactly how that works. The standard sliding door system clicks together like this. Then you have a total length of 2 meters. Now we are going to place an extension in between. And then you will see that the total length of the sliding door system is now 2.9 meters. And so you can endlessly continue extending your sliding door system. As you can see, the sliding door system has various mounting holes. These are for the so-called coach screws. These are included with each set of sliding door systems. Even when you add an extension or connect the separate parts, you will see that a mounting hole is created, and the coach screws fit perfectly here. Before we can install the sliding door rail system, we first need to determine where the rail should go. I will explain that to you now. First, I will explain how it works with a single door. The height is quite simple to determine. That's because you choose the bottom of your threshold. Then you measure 43 millimeters, and then you have the correct height where the sliding door system rails should be positioned. This way, you will perfectly align it with your rollers. Then, you measure 12 centimeters from the inside. Once you have that, you have a starting point for a single sliding door, and you can then place the next section. If you are going to install a double sliding door, it works a little differently. You then need to evenly distribute the rails above the door frame. For example, our total rail length that we will place shortly is 3.8 meters. The distance from the threshold is 1.8 meters. Then we have 2 meters left. 2 meters divided by 2 is 1 meter. That means the rail on that side of the door threshold extends 1 meter, and on that side of the door threshold, it also extends 1 meter. A handy tip before you start marking the sliding door system is, use a long spirit level. About 1.5 meters is sufficient. Then we will mark 43 millimeters from the top using a folding ruler. We have just determined the length, that is 1 meter. We have marked it there as well. Now, using the long spirit level, we will draw a small line to ensure that we install the sliding door rail system straight. If you are going to work with an extension, it is useful to first lay the rails on the ground and then measure the mounting holes and write it down on a piece of paper. Once you have made a small sketch of where the rails should go, you can then mark the holes and pre-drill them. We have just marked the mounting holes. Since we are using a wooden wall, we will pre-drill the holes with a 5 mm thick hardwood drill. Does your home have a brick wall? Then you need to pre-drill the holes with a concrete drill bit that is 8 mm thick. The plugs fit perfectly in these holes. Since we have a wooden wall, we will pre-drill with a hardwood drill bit, and that's what we will start doing now. It is very important to drill the holes straight. Do you find this a bit daunting? Then first use a slightly thinner drill bit so you can mark the holes more accurately. With our sliding rail system, 2 mounting sets are included, one of which is suitable for a wooden wall. This is the wood coach screw, and one suitable for a stone wall. That is this hex bolt with its metal plug. In addition, there are spacers and washers included. In what order should you now place this mounting set? If the wall is on this side of the rails, the spacer goes there. This way, the wide part goes against the wall. The washer goes around the wood coach screw. And then you screw the wood coach screw tight. For a stone wall, you first need to press the metal plug into the pre-drilled hole in the wall. Then, you place the spacer again in this way. Then, you take the washer and place it round the hex bolt, just like we did with the wood coach screw. Push the hex bolt through the rails and spacer. The metal plug is already in the wall, then you can tighten the hex bolt. The metal plug will expand here, anchoring it firmly in the wall. Since we have already pre-drilled the holes, it is very easy to place the second coach screw. We are now going to place the extension. It's easier to first screw in the middle hole, and then we screw the mounting hole onto the extended part. We have just mounted the rails, as you can see. I am going to check with a hanging roller set. If this rolls smoothly over the couplings, we are on the right track. Now we're going to mount the roller sets on the door and then hang the doors. Just remember when making the door that it should have 2 side slats. Here, you need to screw on the hanging roller sets. Ideally, you place a hanging roller set in the middle of this slat. We measured it and came up with a line of 7 centimeters. What is very important to determine is the height of the hanging roller set. It is important that the first or the top mounting hole is fixed 4 centimeters from the top of the door. You can also read all of this in the instructions. So we measure 4 centimeters from here. Then we draw a line. Then we take the top mounting hole. We align it with the line. And then we know that the hanging roller set should be at this height. We are now going to pre-drill the holes in the door. We do this using a hardwood drill, 10 millimeters thick. We have just pre-drilled the holes in the door. Now we will attach the hanging roller set with the supplied mounting materials. Put the washer over the hex bolt through the hole. Then we take the hanging roller set. It is important that you have the wheel above the door. Next, place the washer over it again, and then tighten the cap nut. We do the exact same thing at the second mounting hole, and then we install the second hanger set. We tighten it a bit more with the wrench. If the bottom turns along, you should use 2 wrenches or a water pump plier. We are now going to attach the second hanging roller set. We have attached the hanging roller sets to the door. We are going to hang the door to check if we have maintained the correct height. It should be right because we measured everything carefully. Well, it rolls really nicely. We are going to install the hanging roller sets on the second door now, and then we can hang that one too. To prevent the door from being easily lifted out of the rails, we have some small buffer blocks that we will install on top of the door. We keep a distance of about 5 centimeters from the roller and half a centimeter from the top of the door. This is what a buffer block looks like. We install the buffer block before hanging the door. Because we haven't fully tightened it, we can still move it around. So once we have hung the door, we push it back and it's impossible to lift the door out. Buffer blocks are included in the package. We have hung the door, so now we will screw the buffer block in place. It fits perfectly between the rail and the door. Because of the buffer block, it is almost impossible to lift the door out of the rails. These floor guides are included as standard. You screw them onto a wooden floor with the supplied screws, and for a concrete floor, you use the supplied plugs. Make sure you have a clearance of 5 millimeters at the bottom of your door where the guide will fit. After hanging the door, we will place buffer blocks at both ends, so the door cannot slide off the rails. This is included in the starter kit, including an Allen key. Place the buffer block here at the end. Tighten the Allen screws firmly. Keep in mind that the buffer blocks are on the inside. That's what the door hits against, and it does not produce any noise. Then we can install the handles, and we are done. When installing this handle and the grip plate goes on the inside. That's because if you place the handle here, it will hit the wall. Next, we determine the height. We maintain a simple distance of 5 centimeters here. We have set the height at 1.27 meters. Then we measured what this distance is and marked it here as well. We're now going to pre-drill with a drill 8 millimeters thick through the sliding door and subsequently place the bolts. Here too it is important that you drill perfectly straight. If you find this a bit daunting, use a 4 or 5 millimeter thick hardwood drill first, then it will be a bit easier. We place the grip plate on the inside of the door. Next, the included escutcheons and then the handle. Note that these handles are not supplied as standard and therefore need to be ordered separately. This was the video about the sliding door rail system. Would you like to know more or place an order? Then go to wovar.com/sliding door rails. And remember, Wovar, build to last.